bye room.
Bye room.
Let's go out in the heat again.
Right away.
Let's do it.
It's almost time.
It's St John's Cathedral. And it was built by the Order of St John, so the knights that came over to fight the Ottoman Empire.
They defended the fortress.
They created and defended the fortress, and then they also then created the city of Valletta afterwards. For the first century of its existence, the church interior was pretty modest. However, in the 1660s, it was hugely decorated, and you're going to see it inside. The cathedral's exterior was slightly damaged by an aerial bombardment in 1941 during the Second World War. The contents of the cathedral had been transferred elsewhere before the bombardment, so nothing was lost. And it was restored in the late 80s and early 90s. And in 2001, St John's Cathedral Foundation was set up to finish the restoration. And today it's one of the most popular tourist attractions in Malta. Let's go have a look. Oh, that's that marmalade drink.
It's the marmalade drink. Tastes like marmalade. Bitter marmalade.
Yeah. One thing that is really cool is that each chapel is dedicated to different places in Europe. So this one's the German one. The one behind me is the Portuguese and Spain one. There's one for Aragon. And that's because the Knights of St John, who originally were formed to protect pilgrims on their way to Jerusalem, and then became more militant when they had to fight against the Ottomans. Or when they came to Malta, they obviously all wanted to worship in their own way and in their own traditions, because they were such a mixture of different people.
It's very
cool. Such a mixture of different cultures all in one cathedral. It's beautiful. Is it how many steps?
50, 60, 45. 46.
Amazing view. War rooms. Ugh. This is cool. So obviously we're going to find some more information out, but this is where the war rooms were for during the Second World War. And then the batteries upstairs, which the 12 o'clock guns are going to go off, and I think we've got tickets to actually stand near the guns as they go off. this part is talking about the convoy that would have, or like any supplies coming to Malta had to come by a convoy. And there's one in particular, which was the King George V battleship that had to go through minefields and
bombardments by day, U-boat bombardments by night.
The chances of them getting to Malta were so slim, but they managed it. And
at one point it was so damaged that they had to have defenders on either side, like propping it up.
Keeping it up, yeah, it's crazy. But they managed it, and useful supplies and equipment were able to get to Malta to allow them to continue the fight. So this was used as this is the fighter squadron indicator panel. It was used to maintain what each of the fighter jets and their positioning was. So the guys would have got the info and put it here. That board then attaches, or like is exactly this board here. They would have flipped it over to update the information, and this is the main Air Force command center in which they would have formalized their plans and plotted it on maps in which to create orders. Malta and Sicily. This room is the air detection room, or the filter room, in which they would have detected using radar nearby enemies and moved them over. So what's interesting is you've got this room on this side, the communications room with their current squadrons, and then the central room which would have filtered both of that information in to create commands. These rooms were manned every hour of every day on 8-hour shifts by men, but mostly women who were doing the telecommunications between, or like to track the fighters as well as track the.
So the clock on the wall has got a coloured triangle. If you see the correlation between the arrows there, it's to figure out how fast aircraft were moving. But they didn't want anyone to know that that's what they were doing with the clocks, and it became like a secret thing. So the RAF encouraged people to just use these clocks in general.
That's cool.
So it was like, oh yeah, just like find it in the open. But that's so smart.
Very cool. This room's the combined operations room for both the Air Force and the Navy, and it was also where Dwight D. Eisenhower officiated the invasion of Sicily from this room. To combine both the Air Force's information and the Navy's information to this map, coordinate their attacks, or coordinate their moves. So apparently Operation Husky was actually the largest amphibious invasion of it, like of all time, larger than the one in Normandy. Which is crazy. And it was Dwight D. Eisenhower who was commander of it, all back there. It's amazing. It's amazing that they're just like dug into the walls of the city. Incredible. Yeah. Pretty protected, eh?
It's a nice little spot up in this park.
What's that?
It's waffle blonde caramel.
Ooh. Happy meal.
Variety.
Right, so they're getting ready to set off the guns. And we have the privilege of standing right here and watching it.
With the plebs upstairs.
There's a few people up there.
Basically all it is just paying just a little bit extra.
I think it was like €2 each.
It's not too bad.
And we get to stand out here.
But they're going to demonstrate how they'll do it. and then at 12 o'clock in about half an hour,
Yeah.
they're gonna do it.
Yeah. Let's go look at the view.
That's like me. That's the number one gun.
The number one gun. What about the number? Not just one. You only got one.
This is weak.
Oh, okay. On the track, so you can like swivel it around.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Get all coverage. This is actually the edge of the city walls. That's where we get into the outside city, which in itself is walled. But this is the edge of Valletta city walls, and this is one of the forts that are on it. I wanted to make sure that I told you that we're closer to the giraffe crane. He does look like a giraffe, you're right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
See, this is something that I didn't actually know. This is a naval gun because that has a hole in it to put a rope, and this is a field gun, and that would have been used for carrying it or attaching it to horses, I guess. That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
That was cool.
Yeah. It's loud.
I feel really bad. It was really loud, and then lots of kids cried.
And it was funny.
You're like, yeah, that's how war is.
Definitely recommend coming down, paying the tiny amount of €2 to actually stand here and see the battery go off.
Yeah.
And the guides know so much about the battery
It's
and the, area, the
fascinating,
history of the area. It's very interesting. So yeah, definitely recommend doing that, please. Right,
get some
let's go.
refreshments.
Yeah, let's go enjoy the rest of Valletta. And I mean, now other than going around the walls, that's it.
Let's kind of just eventually head to the airport.
Unless I find another museum to go to.
Valletta and more. Okay.
I might find more.
All right, we'll see. But it's been brilliant, hasn't it?
Incredible, incredible trip.
It's pretty impressive. If you're going to store your money in a bank, do it in the bank that has cannons.
It's a pretty secure bank.
Definitely safe then. After a hearty lunch and a little bit of a rest and some gelato, we're heading back to, I guess, making our way to the airport. So cue montage of beautiful Valletta, eating more gelato and beautiful Valletta scenes. Let's go to the airport. Got your bag. Even signed the best book. It's the extra way. We're leaving the city walls again. Getting the heck out of here. Thank you. Oh my god, we're so high up! Okay. What? What? Wow! You can see stuff. She's in the anime section. As per usual.